It's a BumbleKast Mini, sponsored by Hero Squad.
All right, let's go ahead and get into it. It is possible that the person has sent the question twice. Only one of them, if, is being answered early and another one later. How much does it happen to you to receive the same questions from the same people?
Kyle, you manage the questions more than I do, so you'd be the best to ask this too.
Well, when it comes to priority questions and minis, generally it's pretty rare that we get duplicates. But if you send it during a live stream and then you've also sent it in another way, then that will also duplicate it. So yeah, that's really the only way. Otherwise, sometimes people like to resend their questions on Twitter or make the comment multiple times on YouTube. And I ask them to not do that because it's a lot of questions. And you don't need to send it multiple times. I actually see it. So I see it the first time. So you don't have to worry about that. So that's it. Next question. I've been thinking of making a villain for a dream series of my own. I want the guy to be hated in a good way by people in real life. I want him to be extremely vile. What does it take to write a good villain who's heartless and sadistic?
Well, you don't want them to be pure evil for the sake of evil. That has its uses, certainly, but it's kind of hollow. It doesn't make for a very lasting or endearing effect. So you need to have something to them that rounds them out. Why are they heartless? Why are they sadistic? And it can still be fairly simple. You don't have to get fully Freudian on them and make them sympathetic. Far from it. You can keep them just absolutely irredeemable scum. But for me, there needs to be at least some method to their madness. We'll take Dr. Eggman, for example, because goodness knows we have a huge Sonic slant on this show. Eggman is an awful, awful person, and he's doing it because he thinks he's right. He's the smartest man in the room, therefore whatever he comes up with has to be right. And there you go. That's all the logic you need. There is a purpose to what he is doing, and he can be wrong. He can be absolutely vile, but there's still something behind it instead of just evil for evil's sake. If you want them to be destructive and chaotic for the sake of the anarchy, that still needs to be defined as their purpose. They're trying to cause misery because it gives them joy, because it fits with their worldview. They want to tear down the system. And it doesn't have to be justifiable or understandable as long as it feels authentic to them.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in terms of what they do, you need to be able to work in both broad strokes and pointed effect. What are they doing in the world of your story that necessitates conflict? What are they doing that garners the interest of your protagonist, or how do they affect the world around them so that you understand just by how they've infected their environment that they are a bad dude? And depending on what you're doing with said character, when they become engaged with your principal cast, what do they do to the cast? And how can you make it extra personal? Just beating up the protagonist is base level. It's conflict. You can have them win. You can have them grind their face in the dirt and be a jerk about it. That starts. But if you want them to be just like really nasty, you got to twist the knife. You got to find something that makes it extra painful to the protagonist and the people that are reading it that want to empathize with said protagonist. So, kill the dog, destroy the sacred family heirloom, actively destroy the one clear path to the protagonist's goal. Something that hurts them not just physically, but at their core. Make the protagonist do something horrific because there is no other option. Put them in a no-win scenario, and it's because it's the villain's doing. There's a lot of ways you can make it awful, but make sure that they feel authentic in what they're doing, and whatever they do, make it personal.
maybe don't kill the dog, because we saw what happened when he killed John Wick's dog, and that's no good.
Are you kidding? It launched 4 movies. It was great.
Well,
It was brilliant.
I mean, it was great for everybody, for the entertainment value, but it was terrible for the people who are in his way.
Yeah, but that's actually a perfect example.
I know it actually is. I'm just making a joke about
beat up Wick.
Yeah.
That could have been fun. He could have left it at that, and that would have been a bad dude.
Yeah.
But they killed the dog.
They killed the dog.
Now you're like, yeah, Wick, go get him.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Like, I heard that they killed the dog. I heard that part before actually watching it. And I was like, oh, okay, well, this sounds kind of dumb. Then I actually watched it, and I'm like, oh, now I get it. Now I understand. It wasn't necessarily just killing the dog.
Right.
It was everything around it, and it's what the dog represented. So, yes, that was extremely well done on that part. It's very good for entertainment value. I'm just saying, if you don't want to have your entire villain organization destroyed, maybe you shouldn't kill John Wick's dog. All right. Let's think of a hypothetical scenario, shall we? If I ever work with Sega and IDW to contribute my work for the series, I want to add my characters. My only concern and worry is that if I ever put my characters in the comic, I'm afraid that Sega owns them. Thus, I cannot use them for my personal use. Since I don't want something similar to what happened to the pre-boot, how can I still use my characters if Sega owns them? Do I let Sega use abridged versions of my characters, thus I can keep the originals? What do you think?
Short answer, you don't.
Yeah, you don't. You don't.
If you were able to get your original characters into the series wholesale, Sega owns them.
Uh-huh.
That is the nature of the contract. That's the nature of working on licensed material. I do not own Tangle. Every piece of merch, every appearance she makes, anything she does is completely out of my hands. I get to contribute still, but if I get hit by a bus tomorrow, Tangle will still exist and will be used with or without my permission or oversight. That's it. Everything I have created for IDW Sonic is Sega material. That's what licensed work is.
Yes.
On the other side of this, you are not going to get your original characters into the book wholesale. Because number one, you have to pitch them to the editor. And the editor may want changes to the motivation, to the characterization, to however they're utilized in the story. They may not like the particular design and ask for revisions and send it out to another artist. Then once that was approved on IDW's end, that would move on to Sega and they would have input. And they may further want to change abilities, looks, species, design, the whole shebang. Tangle started out as a rabbit, for pity's sake. Yeah. She was an homage to Sonic's original concepts, and now she is worlds different. So your original characters would more than likely be heavily modified to the point where it's not your characters anymore. It's Sega's version of them, in which case, why even bother trying to put your characters in there, because they're not yours anymore, legally or distinctively. So my suggestion to you is do your own thing. There is no blanket copyright protection of anthros in an action adventure setting. If you like Sonic and you have characters like that, make your own series in that vein. And people will go, oh, that looks a lot like Sonic. And you can say, yeah, that was the inspiration, but this is original, and you do your own thing with it, and you have the freedom to do whatever you want.
Yeah. So don't put your characters in the comics or anything. You will not be happy with the result, probably, unless they come up with something better. But I wouldn't test that if I were you.
Now I know there's going to be somebody going, but what about? There have been some creators who have put cameos of their characters.
Yeah, that's different.
But those, and maybe that's like walking a fine line. I don't know. But they aren't named. They aren't those characters specifically. It's more of a tee-hee. It's an Easter egg that like me and 7 other people are going to get. That's completely different. That isn't going through approvals. That's not introducing a new idea to the greater IP. That's an artist having a little bit of fun on the side.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a world of difference. And I know there's another exception that people are going to try to bring up, and I can't get into that. Suffice to say that there hasn't been anything produced with said material, which should speak volumes to its usability.
And it also hasn't actually been tested in court. Anyway.
But let's not get into that. We have more questions from Hero Squad.
Indeed we do. Have both of you seen The Never-Ending Story? If so, what would it be each Sonic characters? You're free to include Archie and IDW characters if you want, or just keep it simple. Be their favorite parts and the parts they feel sad. Will everyone cry to the part where, spoilers, Atreyu couldn't save his horse from sinking?
It has been so long.
It has been a very long time since I've seen it. I remember it was one of my favorite movies as a kid, but I am having a hard time remembering any specifics other than that one that Hero Squad just mentioned.
I mean, I think everybody in the room, regardless of who they are, would be freaking out over the horse.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of a universal.
That was intentionally designed to cause that reaction.
And likewise, I think everyone would be cheering and rooting for the kid at the very end where he shouts into the storm to restore the collapsing world.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's kind of like the embodiment of every Sonic character. If you go down to the absolute base denominator, is railing against the darkness to bring about good things.
Yeah.
Beyond that, my memory of that movie is so foggy. Maybe Knuckles would contemplate eating rocks because Rockbiter makes it look good.
Rockbiter, yeah. I was gonna say Rockbiter might appeal to Knuckles. The Moonchild, I'm trying to even remember. I'd like a, yeah. I'm so. It's hard to remember details. Starline hates it.
Ride on Falcor like nothing else.
I know Starline hates it.
Starline likes it up to a point. It's when the giant wolf thing, whatever its name was, finally tracks down Atreyu and makes its lunge, and then Atreyu beats it to be like, no! He was robbed! Look at the size of that beast! There's no way some piddly knife could have stopped it. I'm done with it. I wash my hands of this.
Yeah. He walks away, and then he peeks in a few minutes later.
Eggman's kind of quiet throughout, just kind of nodding along, taking you in, and then the credits roll and goes, wait, it's done? It's the never-ending story. Why are the credits? False advertising!
It's so they can market sequels, Eggman, because marketing. It's evil. You should like it.
I suppose it is technically accurate. The best kind of accurate.
Yeah. I mean, he's already living in a never-ending story, so. With the Super Mario Brothers movie being released digitally, and possibly by the time when this releases, home video, people around the world can enjoy watching the Plumber's Adventures. My question is, have you both finally seen the movie? If so, what are some of your favorite moments as well as favorite Easter eggs?
Still haven't seen it.
I have seen it. I don't want to delve too much into spoilers, I guess, since you have not seen it, Ian. But yes, I did. But
I don't super care.
I feel like there's not much to spoil. Like, there really is not much to spoil. It's a fun movie. It's a good ride. That's really what it is more of a theme park ride than anything. It's mostly just a lot of shuffling characters between big moments. It's not really... There isn't much there. Like, I thought the Brooklyn scenes were more interesting, of seeing, like, Mario and Luigi's family and stuff like that, But we don't spend a lot of time there before the movie just is like, into the Mushroom Kingdom you go. And then it's just moving from one thing to another. Just put the characters on a train, take them to the next scene, and keep going.
Do they do the Mario Luigi Mario thing, or how do they address the Mario Brothers?
They really don't. They don't straight
cowards.
Yeah, they don't really make any references to the old movie. Really, there's I don't know. There may be something vague kind of there, but I did enjoy the Easter eggs and the fun little nods, like Spike from Wrecking Crew being there and stuff. The dynamic with Mario and Luigi was very wholesome, and his family, actually, their family was like super wholesome too. So, and it was good to hear Charles Martinet, even though he wasn't voicing Mario. Whatever, it's fine, I guess. But I mean, Bowser stole the whole show because, of course, he would.
Yeah.
So it's fun. It just feels like there's not a lot there, and I'm kind of disappointed that they swapped out the composed music for some pop culture music instead, licensed music. It's like, because the original music for some of the scenes is on the soundtrack, but it's not in the movie. They swapped it out for licensed stuff, and it's like, oh, come on. So, and it's just always like, it's always moving. It was constantly moving. There wasn't much breathing room, it felt like, which was kind of a shame. So, it's a good movie. It's fun. But honestly, I kind of like the original 93 movie better. Oh, well. With some comic characters never having voices, I think it would be fun to give them voices. Obviously not official. What voice do you think of when writing/viewing certain characters? Personally, I see Clutch having Dr. Facilier's voice from Disney's The Princess and the Frog. I don't know why. Maybe it's the way he's dressed. Human minds are an enigma.
I will take any excuse to have Keith David voice anything.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that's my bias, but I don't think I'm wrong.
You're not. No. Is that Dr. Facilier? Is that Keith David?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Keith David is Clutch. All right. Sure.
And yeah, I can work with that. I can definitely hear that he's got that smooth and a little bit of sinister in there. Yeah. I could be on board with that.
So you could be a little slimy.
Mm-hmm.
Keith is Grimlock apparently now.
Really? Ooh.
That's pretty good.
I can hear that too. Yeah. All right. If we can't have Goliath, we can have Grimlock. That works.
Very cool. I don't know. We've talked about this a little bit before, but
yeah, I'm terrible with voice actors in general, so I don't have any specific voices in mind. I do have line reads in my head, so I could provide example on inflection, but I don't have specific voices in mind.
Yeah. I know some people have had some suggestions, or they've used clips of other characters for animations and stuff of IDW characters, which is always fun. So, if you have any thoughts or suggestions, leave them down in the comments below. A Sonic Boom episode revolving around, once again, another meme, but this time it's a Rickroll. How does everyone react? Is Styx confused? Does she get paranoid of getting Rickrolled? Who's the Rickroller that Rickrolls everyone? I mean, would it be...
It starts off innocently enough.
I figured it would be Eggman who would be doing it.
Yeah, it's definitely him. It's just he actually legitimately likes the song and wants to share it with everyone.
Well, I mean, he's right.
It's a gesture of peace. He just wants everyone to hear this song. It's so uplifting. You're never gonna give you up and never gonna let you down. This is great. It's gonna share everybody. Except nobody. It's great the first time, but nobody wants to just get pop scared with this. So you have Badniks flying in, just streaming it. Warbot and Cubot popping out of the bushes with laptops to play it, and treat it almost like a zombie apocalypse where Styx comes back from the brush and everyone's just kind of hiding. Don't look out! They'll Rickroll you anytime, any around the corner. They never give up. They'll never let us down. She has no context for this, and she assumes the absolute worst, and she's running and hiding, and Knuckles is actually into it too, so he's singing it. They got to him as well.
Oh no!
They
got him.
Eventually, they stage a invasion of the Egg Fortress to make it stop, and Eggman's like, "Stop what? Oh yeah, I got tired of that a long time ago. I've moved on." Oh, okay. And so they leave. He's like, "I really want to." They seem pretty angry. I should share this new song with them. Hey, Macarena.
New, huh? All right. Well, it's the Boom universe. It can be new if it wants to. You said a while back that the ancient pilots had names in the script to identify them. I know you can't talk much about the development, but I'm curious. Were they basically just called Ancient Pilot 1, Ancient Pilot 2, etc.? Or did they actually have variety? I'm assuming an unanswerable answer will come out, but I might be wrong.
More or less, it was just kind of like identifiers, so that whoever was doing the voice direction would know that this is a different voice for these characters. Nothing super in-depth or illuminating, just drawing parallels to what was going on in the main storyline. Not much really more I can say about it at this point.
All right. As a guy who enjoyed watching Journey to the Center of the Earth, it got me thinking, what if Earth had Hollow Earth, or at least the whole Hollow Earth theory? Would it be an actual world within Earth, or some sort of pocket dimension since Earth showed only crust when it broke into pieces? How would Sonic and companions explore this new world? Would they be amazed? Forgive me if this sounds fan idea-ish.
Well, I'd have to look at the cinematics again, but I'm pretty sure in Unleashed you see the mantle of the world.
Yeah, I thought
still sitting there. The crust blew apart, but the mantle is still there, and presumably the core within. And that perfect dark Gaia is rising up out of the mantle. But, I mean, Hollow Earth would be certainly fitting enough for the Sonic franchise in terms of fanciful locations.
Mm-hmm.
And if anything, it doubles your real estate. Oh, we've explored all the world. Guess what, buddy? You flip that inside out, you got even more.
It wouldn't be the first time this happened in Sonic, something related to Sonic anyway. Because, we had Station Square underground in Archie, which is so weird. I guess it's the only explanation for a city that you never saw before. It's like the world could be big. You could just go somewhere else and be like, oh, hey, it's a human city. Wow. No, got to put it underground. Whatever. What is the funniest moment you've experienced in the BumbleKast that made you die laughing? Assuming you have bad memory, what is the most recent funniest moment you experienced? This question.
Yeah, calling me out like that. I mean, you're right.
Yeah.
I know we've had some really good times on the show. Nothing immediately springs to mind.
We have had
fun.
So many Boom ideas and Boom episode concepts that have come through this show. That has been...
I think I got you pretty bad with the big guest episode. Move, Kyle.
Yes.
Kyle, move. Move, Kyle.
Classic. The big guest episode was just fun in general. I'm sure someone else... I know the ones that killed you were the ones where I said, I was talking about Vector having two hands.
Yeah. There was one episode, I can't remember now. There was something you said that caught me completely off guard.
Yeah.
And I was just wheezing.
Or Vector's favorite flavor.
No.
That one got you pretty good, I think. And it might have just got you again.
Family show, Kyle. Family show.
Uh-huh. I know. Gotta have a family somehow. We have fun
There's something I
here.
want to say, but it's a family show. Nope. Moving on.
No,
Let's move on before I get us in trouble. Just demonetized.
Yeah, well, it wouldn't be the first time. In Sonic Riders, Jet mentions that he has a father, and which carries into IDW as well. In the same game, we see in Jet's office a portrait of a hawk wearing an admiral outfit, which looks oddly similar to Jet. My question is that Jet's father, according to Sega, or someone else in Jet's birdie bloodline? I bet his name is Plain.
I don't think it's ever been confirmed, but that seems to be the general consensus.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Maybe I should ask about that. It would be nice to nail down at least.
Who is Jet's father? Who is the father? They could have a whole talk show about that. Who is Jet's father? And we got one last thing. To cap off this mini, I want to ask a simple melodic question. Can you, Black Doom or Starline, sing My Way?
Well, I am boring, but as for the other two, why not both?
All right, I don't know how this is going to work, but all right.
And now the end is near, and so I face the final curtain. My friend, I'll say it clear. I'll state my case, of which I'm certain. I've lived a life that's full. I've traveled each and every highway, and more, much more than this, I did it my way.
Regrets, I've had a few, but then again, too few to mention. I did what I had to do and saw it through without exception. I planned each charted course, each careful step along the byway, and more, much more than this, I did it my way.
Yes, there were times, I'm sure you knew, where I bit off more than I could chew. But through it all, when there was doubt, I ate it up and spit it out. I faced it all, and I stood tall and did it my way.
I've loved, I've laughed and cried, I've had my fill, my share of losing, and now, as tears subside, I find it all so amusing to think I did all that, and may I say, not in a shy way. Oh no, not me. I did it my way.
Oh, what is a man? What has he got? If he himself, then he has not to say the things he truly feels, and not the words of one who kneels. The record shows I took the blows and did it my way.
Incredible. Bravo. It's always a show on this BumbleKast. Oh, man.
Thank you to Hero Squad for sponsoring this BumbleKast Mini. If you want one of your own, head up to patreon.com/BumbleKast, ko-fi.com/BumbleKast, or become a YouTube member. Be good to yourselves, be good to each other, and we will see you next time on the BumbleKast.
See you later, everybody.